From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Monday night. It's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine into its 25th year, and we are powered by cleveland.com. Monday night means Bud Shaw is here, and he in fact is here. I was just guessing that you'd be here.
Well, I'm happy to say it's true.
So I've been on Baker Mayfield, his bandwagon for the last couple of months, telling people just let him play, and you'll find out soon enough what you need to find out about. I didn't expect this in any way, shape, or form. What was that yesterday?
Yeah, you feel like a pretty smart guy, don't you?
Well, after a game like that, sure.
Yeah. I think what it was is an offense that's starting to get used to playing together and playing against a defense that they knew was incredibly vulnerable against the pass. The notion that this is a running team is not a wrong one. It's just the way they play some teams. They will throw early to get a lead and then use that punishing running game to exhaust the clock. And it looked pretty smart yesterday. I know some people, and I've heard from a couple, weren't very happy with the way the second half went. But as I said to you earlier today, if the biggest issue is the Browns getting up 38-7 and then taking the foot off the gas, that doesn't rank in the top 10 of issues that they've had over the years.
No, in fact, you might suggest that Kevin Stefanski should have maybe taken one or two players out so they wouldn't get hurt with a new game coming up next Sunday. I wouldn't have done that, but I would consider that before I'd say let's not take the gas off.
But look, I don't think they're as good defensively as they looked in that first half. I think we all know that. We've watched them all year long. But certainly Stefanski gets a lot of credit for, we always talk about identity, and now they have an identity. They're a running team. Well, when you go into a game against a team that doesn't have a pass rush and can't cover in the secondary, you'd be silly to make their job easier by just handing off. So I think a lot of people should be really excited about that game plan yesterday because it showed Stefanski's willing to think on his feet, and this is a team, or he's trying to groom this as a team that can beat people in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, when you think of game plans and rookie coaches and all, I wouldn't expect that most rookie coaches would change the game plan mid-game. And what you're suggesting is he's got so much confidence in himself and the people around him, both the players and the coaching staff. And he goes out of his way, by the way, to give kudos to the coaching staff. I don't know if that's just the way he does it or if that's absolutely true, but he gains some friends in the coach's locker room. I can tell you that when he does things like that. But I think don't expect Baker Mayfield to do this each and every week, but when you start saying things like, well, he threw 4 touchdown passes in the first quarter. The only Brown quarterback to ever do that was Otto Graham. I don't know if Baker Mayfield has any idea who Otto Graham is, but he now knows that he's in pretty good company.
Yeah, listen, I thought it was I know people say it was a statement win and all that. And I just think this is a really odd season with a lot of challenges for each organization. Some teams are not going to get up for games because of preparation, because of just the way the season is falling. And I'm not saying that Tennessee did that, but they certainly obviously got knocked back on their heels. Now, I think the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit for, having these awkward, preparation weeks where you don't know if you're going to have everybody. Next day, the facility's closed. And so to me, the big takeaway wasn't so much that this team, stamped itself Super Bowl contenders or whatever. I just think the biggest takeaway was that they know that in a situation where they need Baker Mayfield to be great, he can be great. And that's what he was yesterday. There's no other way to explain it.
And that's after losing the first pass that Peoples-Jones should have had. It was basically an easy pass. Could have been 5 touchdowns in that first half. But I think you're absolutely right. It was a statement game to state that they can do a lot of different things out there to hurt you. And I think that gives the defensive coordinator lots to think about when they're setting up to take on the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the last year at this time they were forcing the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. Those two guys clearly hadn't, spent a lot of time together developing much chemistry on the field. And I think teams are a lot more dangerous when you can look up and down their roster and see guys that are capable of making plays, and as opposed to one guy that they have to rely on all the time. And I think that's what this wide receiver group has become.
No, earlier in the season though, when Beckham got hurt, there was a lot of talk that well maybe that'll be better for Baker Mayfield because he doesn't have to appease OBJ. And they can deny it all they want, but the proof is in the pudding. Something was going on there.
Yeah, listen, I think we all know it would be kind of silly to say that a team with taking Odell Beckham Jr.'s immense talent off the football field makes you a better team. I won't go that far, but I do think that it has allowed Baker Mayfield in some ways to look around the field a little more and not feel that sort of unspoken, pressure to get the ball to not only just pressure, but it makes sense. You want to get the ball to a guy like Beckham. So I just think that they've made the most of losing a talent like that by quantity now, and finding out that some of the quantity of wide receivers are pretty good quality wide receivers too.
216-575-0403 is the number to call if you want to get in. Now's the time to do it. It's easy to get in now, not so easy a little bit later. But I heard what I thought was a tremendous call. This is kind of an oxymoron, a tremendous call on Sports Talk Radio. I don't know if that's possible, but I did. I heard, I think Friday, and it was a caller who was, I'm guessing, was in his 40s or 50s, describing how he felt about this Browns team, and he went through went one for the Gipper type speech, but he says he smacked his hands and he says, "This is what the Cleveland Browns. This is what my father told me it was like." And I harken back to you, coming into Cleveland and being told by Tony Grossi that it's going to be a wild ride here. It hasn't been. Well, it's been wild, but not good wild. But this summed it up pretty well, for as far as I'm concerned. That this is the Cleveland Browns team that his father told him about.
Yeah, I mean, I was struck by the way the Jets lost yesterday in that game as being the way the Browns used to lose those during that 1-31 stretch, right? They would they'd find a way somehow at the end of the game to blow it. And now I think you can finally now look at that. And I'm not ready to say this team can win a Super Bowl as this year. I'm just saying that those days are way behind this team right now. And I think it has a lot to do with the front office, and also the guy that really should be taking a bow right now and saying, "I told you so," is Paul DePodesta. And I know people don't like the fact that he didn't live here all year round and all that stuff, but he tried to hire Kevin Stefanski last year,
Right.
and was voted down by, Dorsey and probably some other people in the building, and Haslam eventually, Haslam ultimately has that decision, so it lands in his lap. But, DePodesta has known what he wanted to do with this organization. There were some hard lessons that no one wanted to go through the rigors of tearing it down. And I still contend that it could have been torn down without the pain that we saw during 1-31. But I know with this, this is the start of what the Cleveland Browns can look like for the next 5 to 10 years if they keep this head coach here and this staff together.
Well, you mentioned the New York Jets and the way they lost the game, and they lost a defensive coordinator as a result. Somebody who, if you recall, a lot of people wanted him to be the head coach here in Cleveland.
Yeah, and I used to get into long discussions with people about that because they saw, the bluster, the tough guy attitude, the fact that when he did take over, the team responded that year. But I don't ever think he would have been a right hire. Nobody in that building thought he would be the right hire. He got a cursory interview, if anything, and it was probably all for the better. I'm sure today, Les, he's calling people he knows in the media and telling them that he's already had 7 job offers, right? That's what he always says when he gets fired.
Well, it's only 6 because he doesn't have the Browns offer standing by right now.
Yeah, right.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. We've got some 45, 50 minutes if you want to give him a call and find out, give us your opinion of what's going on. Mary Kay Cabot will be here tomorrow. We'll take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. It was one of the most important games for the Browns in the last 20 years, and this year's team proved the moment was not too big. They were up for the challenge from the opening kickoff. The Browns played their best half of football since their return in 1999 in the first half against the Titans. The 38 first-half points scored is a franchise record. They scored on each of their first 6 possessions and were a Donovan Peoples-Jones drop away from scoring touchdowns on those first 6 possessions. Most of the damage was done through the air on the arm of Baker Mayfield, who for the second time this season had 4 passing touchdowns and a half. No other quarterback in the NFL has done that this year. How good was Baker Mayfield versus the Titans? Baker became the first QB in the NFL to have 20 completions, 290 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions since Ben Roethlisberger did it in 2014. Mayfield joins Big Ben, Tom Brady, Donovan McNabb, and Peyton Manning as the only QBs to do so since 1991. Quarterback royalty, to be sure. Kevin Stefanski put the game in Mayfield's hands early, and Baker delivered.
those are the things that we've talked about, like after the bye week, going into it, looking at things that I like conceptually and things that he likes, how he sees it, and getting on the same page. So we're on the same page right now. And that goes for Alex Van Pelt and just everything we're installing and putting in week out. There's just a very open line of communication that's going on. So the fact that he trusts me that much makes me more confident. There's no doubt about that. So, we need to keep growing. I mean, there's plays that we should have had. This game shouldn't have been as close as it should have, or as it was. So need to improve.
No interceptions for Mayfield, but there was a fumble in the second half and things that Baker needs to clean up.
I told him he's going to be doing some ball security drills there after that fumble. He does the same. He's the same guy during the week that he is on game day. He grinds. He's making plays left and right, in the pocket, out of the pocket. We had some unfortunate drops there in big moments, and the numbers would be even better. So he's playing at a high level, and he has to continue to do so. We're counting on him, and he knows that.
How do you compare the way he's playing now to the way he played at the beginning of the season, particularly as he's evolved, learning this offense?
Yeah, I don't think of it that way, Jake. I just think all of our guys got to continue to get better, and we got to help them as coaches to put them in position to succeed.
At 9-3, Stefanski is off to the best start for any of the NFL's first-year head coaches. The Browns have the third best record in the AFC behind only the Steelers and the Chiefs. The Browns also have a full game lead over the Dolphins and Colts for the top wild card spot in the conference. The Browns are currently holding on to the 5th seed in the playoff race behind the 4 division leaders.
I think what we saw was that the best receiver that the Browns have, or that Baker Mayfield has, might be Baker Mayfield. I mean, that was a heck of a play. If you analyze that play and run it over and over again, the amount of athleticism just in that one little pass was unbelievable.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have to rely on that every week for sure.
No,
I know people have mixed emotion, or I should say this. I think people generally really like Jarvis Landry and think he's the best receiver the Browns have. I just think there's a little more upside with playmaking among some of the other wide receivers that they have, some of the younger guys. And that's not a knock on not a knock on Landry. I just think he's that steady guy that that will come through for you on third down. But he to me, he's not, they're going to have to make a decision on those guys at the end of the year, and who cares about it right now, but they got a lot of money tied up in him and Odell Beckham still. And it's nice to see that they have other options at wide receiver if they choose not to keep both of those guys together.
You mentioned about Stefanski as a coach, and what is very impressive to me is Peoples-Jones drops the pass in the end zone, relatively easy pass by NFL standards. Sure. And instead of pulling him out like some coaches would do, he went right back to him on the next play or next opportunity, which, by the way, was 75 yards from Baker Mayfield. You got to give the coach some credit on that. It might have gone unnoticed, but not by those who know what they're looking at.
Yeah, when Freddie took over last year, he was quick to say that he didn't have an ego, that he didn't care who got the credit, that all he cared about was making players better. But then when the season ended, he had obviously had some issues with certain guys, Njoku, one of them, Higgins, another. I think when Stefanski says this kind of stuff, I think he actually means it. And he has shown that. He's willing to give guys a chance. He was willing to give those guys a chance when I'm sure he had played a part in the decision to bring both of those guys back at a time when a lot of people thought their days in Cleveland were probably over.
Right. Let's Dave Bacon in his Bacon Bits is talking about the playoff situation. Let's take a look at where things stand as the day started today, without any other games that are going on here. Let's take a look at where the Browns stand. And there you see it. The Steelers come in at 11-0, and the Chiefs struggled, but they came on to win last night, 11-1. And then you got the Bills and Titans and the Browns at 9-3, and there you see it. Is there a team other than obviously the Steelers and Chiefs? Is there one team you'd like to stay away from in the first round, Bud?
Well, I don't think any of the other teams are ones that would worry me. I believe it or not, Les, I think the Ravens are a team, and I know they're on the outside right now, but they're a team that I still think is going to be a really tough out in the playoffs because of the quarterback they have and just the coach they have. So but those other teams, to me, Buffalo, they might be better than I think they are, but I certainly like this team better than I like the Titans. I like it better than the Colts. I like it better than the Dolphins. The Raiders are a team that would concern me a little just because I think they're a really physical team that can play that brand of ball that the Browns like to play at the line of scrimmage when they're running the ball. So yeah, I mean, certainly I wouldn't want to run into Kansas City's the only one that I would put off and say I don't ever want to see them in the playoffs if I'm a Browns fan. The Steelers to me are I don't want to say an overrated undefeated team, but I think they're an overrated undefeated team.
You think they're going to run the table?
I don't. No, I just think they still don't run the ball well enough, and they have a 38-year-old quarterback that if he gets dinged up at all, I mean, their only chance of winning games at that point is going to be to win them, 13-10.
Right. Yeah. Well, Miami didn't win by a huge margin. I'd have to check on that now that I'm saying it, but I don't think Miami scared anybody the year they went undefeated. I guess you scare them when you look at the standings, I guess, but when you're playing them head to head, I don't think they scared anybody.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Steelers have a lot of talent at wide receiver. They have a good offensive line, and their defense is very good. So I'm not trying to dismiss them, but I'm just not sure you can get all the way through this league unscathed if you can't run the ball a little bit. And so far, they haven't shown to me that they can run it a little bit when they have to.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come on back. Bud Shaw is with us. 216-575-0403 is the number to call if you'd like to get in. There's a line open. It's ready for you right now. More sports and Les Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line, a long line.
Birthdays for today, December 7th, 2000. Early dinner. I thought it was going to be early win, but early dinner gets in here. Johnny Bench, 1947. Larry Bird, 1956. Terrell Owens. Yasiel Puig. Didn't he play for the Indians at one point? Not very hard, but he did. And Pete Alonso, the one-time rookie of the year, all born on the 7th of December. Let's go to the phones. We'll go to Devin, who's in Concord. Devin, good evening.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Devin.
Hey, Les, are those walls padded back there?
I'm
I
already
don't
giving
Just
this
say.
call an 8. I'm giving this call an 8.0 already.
Just wondering. That's all.
I'm gonna make one statement about that, and that is Mr. Gullible actually has a good one sent in tonight, and if we don't screw it up, he'll be able to hear himself do it.
Well, it better be better than 8.0.
Hey, hey, Bud, what are you gonna? What about your boy Wentz yesterday, huh?
I knew he was going to be my boy today. I knew that as soon as he got pulled yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, that's my hometown team. You know that, right?
I know, of course. Yeah, I know you're a
So
Philly guy. Yeah.
I've been listening to my brother complain about Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz all season. So I knew he'd be happy at least when Jalen Hurts got in there, though it didn't really change their fortunes much.
Yeah, it just reminded me because you brought up Dee Podesta earlier.
Yeah.
How he
Oh,
won,
right.
He won to Stefanski last year. And, you know,
yeah, so I know in
he's
Philly,
one that kind of didn't think too much of Wentz.
Yeah, I mean, what he said is that he didn't see a top 20 quarterback there. Now, I think that's, you know, obviously that looked foolish for a couple of years, but certainly something has happened to that guy. I know some people feel it's concussion related, but he's certainly, I've never seen a guy hold on to the ball as long as he has this deep into his career.
I don't know about these guys, top 20. Denver had the top 4 at one time a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Top 4 quarterbacks that you never heard of? Yeah.
no, yeah, I heard him that night.
But didn't Dee Podesta want McDermott before Huey?
I don't think so. I thought that I thought it was his guy all the way.
It doesn't matter, but you know.
Listen, not everybody got it right on Mahomes.
What's that?
Not everybody got it right on Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh, right, exactly. You know, and looking back at all the coaches that we've had since '99, there were 2 guys that I was happy. I thought Butch Davis was going to be great. You know, I thought I'm happy for this guy, and then I thought Mangini was going to be a good one too. You know, but all the other ones I didn't think anything of. Now Stefanski, I was like on an island with that guy. Like none of my friends, nobody just admitted like, what are you nuts? Stefanski? And his steady demeanor and just his ability to just kind of simplify things in hectic situations is really amazing when you think about it. And he dealt with Thielen and Diggs last year.
I thought Mike Pettin was going to be a pretty good coach here. He got stuck with Manziel, so that never happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my boy's a mess.
You're actually still calling him your boy.
I mean, hey, I gotta take the bullet. You know what I mean? I like them, so.
You're right.
You can't hide from it.
As stupid as that might be, I give you credit for it.
Hey, did you guys see that breakdancing is going to go into the Olympics?
Seriously?
Must have been funny, and I missed it. Try it again.
Breakdancing in the Olympics. Hey, I used to cover the Olympic Committee and I sat in on a meeting when there was an impassioned plea from a federation to include ballroom dancing in the Olympics. It didn't work. Thank God.
That's a shocker. I mean, yeah. I haven't watched the Olympics since I think the '76 Summer Olympics when Sugar Ray Leonard won a gold. That was
That's when you started watching
I think.
That was the last one you watched?
Yeah, I actually I was a little kid, right? And I just, really was completely into it. And then they boycotted '80. And then, so.
Yeah, they boycotted
first. You guys actually watch it?
What's that?
You guys actually watch the Olympics?
Well, I covered 6 of them, so I had to.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. but I don't
All right,
watch it so much anymore.
We got to go. We'll talk to you next Monday, I'm sure.
All right, buddies. See you guys later.
All right, see you, Devin.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back. Mike Massetta is here from, you know where that place is. It's not a floor. It's Nature Stone. We'll get to him and more when we get back. Smiley One, they're coming to my house next Tuesday, I think, to do the what they do every 4 months, and they do a tremendous job of it, and they'll do it for you too. Call them at 440-449-4328, smiley1.com. Back in a moment. More sports and less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Time for this date in sports history, December 7th, 1963. Instant replay is used for the first time in a sportscasting event. It was the Army-Navy game, and it fooled the announcers. Bud, do you remember Lindsey Nelson, the great national announcer?
I do.
He was told he was being driven either in a cab or a limo to the game that he was going to do. And the producer says, by the way, we're going to use this new piece of equipment where you're going to be able to see the play that just happened. And Lindsey Nelson had no idea what that meant. They waited and just put it on the air when it happened. And he had the same strange look on his face that all the audience had. And now, if I recall, didn't somebody on our panel once not know that the yellow line was used for first downs?
Yeah, that was me. I mean, no, wait, that wasn't me. It was somebody else.
Oh, okay. Well, let's bring in Mike Massetta. Hey, Mike, I got some bobbleheads up, but they're not on the floor. You know why? It's not a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone. We're going to find out what Mike's doing.
All right, Mike, how are you?
I'm good, bud. How are you doing?
Great.
There he is.
Great.
All right. I told Bud that last week that I felt bad for him because he never got to see the Browns town the way we've all seen it back in the 70s and into the 80s and 90s for that matter. And your son never saw them either. Now your son must think it's the best team in the history of pro football.
Oh yeah, that's a really interesting thought. Yeah, no, he's never seen the Browns good. He's 13, and in the last 13 years, I don't even think they've made the playoffs in the last 13 years. I believe that was 15 years ago. So it's really energized him and all of his friends, and I mean they're really into watching the Browns games and talking about it at school the next day, which is something that they haven't done in a long time. So that's good stuff.
What do they talk about? Baker Mayfield? Do they talk about Nick Chubb? What's the conversation?
Baker Mayfield's probably the biggest conversation, and just how well he's playing. The kids love the quarterback, so that's it. But they also love the receivers too, because they seem to be like the acrobats, on the field. They do all the crazy one-handed catches and things like that, and that's what they try to emulate. So even though he's not playing, Beckham's a big topic they talk about, but so is Landry.
But if I'm going out for football again in high school, I'm going to go as a defensive player, because it appears that there's not much competition. All the good guys want to play offense.
Yeah, I think that's smart, Les. You also don't want to be extended over the middle of the football field looking for a pass to come in when Ronnie Lott has decided to
you forget that quarterback holds a lot of stuff in his hands when he's throwing that ball and where he's throwing it. You forget
That's
about
why
that.
When people always say, boy, LeBron James could have been such a tremendous football player, I don't know, man. Those guys take such huge hits as tight ends and wide receivers. I'm not sure I would volunteer to put up with that.
His knees look pretty good right now, so I think he made the right.
He made the right decision.
All right, so Mike,
did you guys see at the end of the game when Myles Garrett was rushing and the tackle just grabbed him on the face mask and was wrenching it right in front of the referee, and it never even got called? And I think that was the play where they scored the touchdown on, or was the play after to give him the 35 points. I don't know if you guys happened to catch that. I mean, it was horrible. The tackle grabbed him and almost dragged him down by his face mask right in front of the ref.
Yeah, I think the refs had restaurant reservations there.
Something was going on.
We could call holding on against Myles Garrett almost every play, so let's not do it. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, right.
Mike, has the expectations of this Browns team, to you as a fan, has it been raised now since they are where they are in the standings and certainly in the eyes of the pro football world, or are you still trying to keep it down a little bit so as to not put too much pressure on them?
Well, I think that as a fan, with everything that they've done over the last 2 years and adding the talent that they had, you're already going into it with some amount of expectation. The fact that they beat Tennessee in Tennessee, I know there was only 15,000, 16,000 fans there, but still, you're going to their field and you win that game, especially in the way that you did it. The second half was not indicative of how well they played throughout the course of the game, but that they really dominated that first half. I think, the bar's been raised. I mean, now I think for me, the expectation is for them to continue to win these next few games, because they're not playing against much of an opponent until they have to face Pittsburgh, and Baltimore's down. So I would expect them to beat Baltimore, and then when they play that Pittsburgh game, it may be one of those games where Pittsburgh's already shored up the number 1 or number 2 seed, so they're not going to need to start Roethlisberger and some of these other guys, and that could give them a shot to win that game too. So
but Kansas City's putting the pressure on them too, though, only losing one game. All right, so as far as the Browns are concerned, we've never discussed the Browns ever having to rest players. In all the years I've watched the Browns, I think it's been since the 60s that we've even had a discussion of whether you'd need to do that. Let your team rest while the other teams are playing in a playoff game. What do we as fans need to be taught some lessons here?
Yeah, it'll be a nice problem to have.
One thing that was interesting was the Browns have had a couple of key players go down, either for COVID with Garrett or injuries that they'll be out for a couple of games, but not the season, which is what it's actually doing is it's resting those players in the middle of the season. I know that you typically want to do that at the end of the year, but they are getting some time off at crucial times of the year to be able to rest their bodies for the stretch run. I don't know how much they're going to be able to rest their players at the end of the year, though, because even with the 9-3 record that they have, they're still I think they're in the top wild card spot. They're not going to catch Pittsburgh for the division, at least unless Pittsburgh loses their next 4 games. But I don't see that happening. So they're not going to catch Pittsburgh for the division. So they're going to have to stay ahead of the wild card positions below them, which they're only a game or two. The AFC's records are much better than the NFC records. They're only a game or two up in that. So I would imagine that they're going to have to play out the regular season, maybe in the last game of the year. If they've shored up one of those 2 wild card spots, you'll see them rest some players. But I don't know if this is the year for that for them.
Every game to win. Mike, we got to move on. We got to talk some Ohio State football, which is always interesting, especially now. And don't forget, it's not a floor. Wow, it's
Nature Stone, guys. Thank you very much. I hope Michigan plays that game.
I hope they do. They won't wimp out on it, will they?
No.
Nah. Oh, a Michigander just popped up. All right, Mike. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Mike Masetta from Nature Stone. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some Ohio State football. The only way to screw up the rivalry could be just what Mike had said. Back in a moment. More sports and less Levine is, of course, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Time for a How Come Quickie. Hey, Bud, how come you can only buy the game Monopoly from one company?
You know what, Les?
Yeah, that's mine.
That's
8.0. You know, I felt that coming on. I felt that coming on. I really did.
That was strong.
Strong. Let's go to BP and Pepper Pike. BP, how are you? BP, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah,
there
BP.
Les?
Yeah, go ahead, BP.
Oh, hey, how you guys doing? Sorry.
Good, man, good.
Good. Well, it was first of all, that was probably the best half of football I've ever seen the Cleveland Browns ever play. I've been watching the Browns since, probably 1970. So, I mean, this was fantastic.
And this is the season I thought we were going to have last season. When Freddie Kitchens was the coach, I just didn't realize how bad Freddie Kitchens was, and the line, and there were some other things. But actually, my thought is last year's team was more talented when you factor in the linebackers were better, and they had Greedy Williams, and it's just kind of funny how things shake out. But they really fortified the offensive line this year. So really, this team is better, and obviously Stefanski makes them better. I want to know what you guys thought. I heard somewhere that the Ravens are favored for this game. Have you heard a line yet on the game against the Ravens?
I thought I heard one.
Yeah, I thought I saw that it opened at 1 or 2, and I'm sure that's just to entice the bettors to
the money
jump on the Browns. I mean, I think by the time that game rolls around, the Browns will be favored.
Yeah. Hey, BP, your statement about the coaching situation, doesn't it make you wonder how John Dorsey fell for it that way and seemed to be right on everything except the coaching situation?
Yeah, it's just, Dorsey wasn't right on everybody. Remember, he whipped on that Austin Corbett, that offensive lineman. And there were some other, you're not going to get every one of these transactions right. There's no way. You'd be a genius, and you'd be in Las Vegas, not in, Burrito, Ohio.
You should be able to have a coach for a team that was as bad as Cleveland. There should be the picking should be ripe for you to get somebody.
But also, it's funny because like Greg Williams got fired today by the Jets, and whenever Williams was let go by the Browns, a lot of people thought maybe the Browns should have kept Greg Williams. But I don't know the guy personally, but I understand he was just way too abrasive to be a long-term coach. Bud would probably have some insight on that.
Yeah, I think
Greg Williams and the way he dealt with the media and all the people.
Yeah, BP, it came up a little bit earlier in the show, and there was not a person in that building pushing for him to be a head coach, and part of it was just personality. It had less to do with the way he was with the media, because he was actually pretty buttoned down when he got the head coaching job. He lost a lot of that bravado, but he just rubbed people the wrong way inside the building. And I just think people looked at his record, and they saw that the first year he takes over as a D coordinator, he gets results. Then the second year isn't as good. Then the third year isn't as good as the second. And he just wears out his welcome. And I think that's probably what happened with him and the Jets too.
Hey, BP,
yep.
You mentioned earlier that I'd be happy with 4 games left if they split the 4. How about will running the table be the only way to satisfy you and many fans?
Well, I think that's going to be hard to do, run the table. And I told some friends I was hoping leading into the game against the Titans that they win at least one of those 3 big games, either beat the Titans, beat the Steelers, or beat the Ravens. So to me, they already satisfied that demand. I'm assuming, they'll beat both New York teams, even though the Giants have improved. But they should still be able to beat the New York Giants. They better, otherwise, I don't think they're, that great of a team. So I think those are 2 wins there, and I would like to see them beat the Ravens. And then you never know what the Steelers might have everything sewed up by then, and they might already have a loss. So if they already have a loss, that Steelers game may not mean anything. So who knows? But I think pretty much they're going to make the playoffs. But I think a win against the Ravens on Monday night will seal the deal.
Yeah, now you need a statement game. All right, BP, thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, guys. Be well.
All right, BP Pepper Pike. Ohio State was brought up minutes ago. From all appearances, I don't know about the last 2 or 3 days since the game was played, since Ohio State played Michigan State on Saturday, it looks like it was set up that Michigan would try to maybe boondoggle this whole attempt by Ohio State to make the playoffs and win the playoffs. I wrote a column that said that John Cooper didn't ruin the rivalry, the non-Michigan coaches didn't ruin the rivalry, and Harbaugh hasn't ruined it either. But if Michigan is instrumental in taking the ability to go and play a game that would send them into the national championship, that would be something that would ruin the rivalry. You agree or disagree?
You mean if they don't play the game?
If they don't play and it's Michigan that that made the biggest stink about it?
Well, that would probably make the rivalry even greater if they cost the Buckeyes the opportunity to go to a national championship game. But listen, everything we know about Jim Harbaugh tells us that he's a competitive guy. He may not be as good a coach as we thought going to Ann Arbor, but I don't think, if the question is, are they going to find reason not to play the game? I don't think there's any chance of that. How do you look your players in the eye, telling them to, what your plan is for Michigan football and how instrumental beating Ohio State is to that plan, and then have the guys know that you didn't really want to play the game because you're afraid you're going to lose by 30.
You brought up the point that I brought up, which is that there's a young man by the name of Adam Shibley, and people in Cleveland, who goes to Michigan, people in Cleveland know him. His family owns the Yours Truly restaurant chains, 9 or 10 restaurants. And Adam plays at Michigan, hasn't played much, and then he got a notice from the coaching staff, or however they do it, the other day saying he'll be starting the final 3 games. Now, how do you go tell Adam Shibley just what you said, that, oh, by the way, we're not going to play the game because we want to cost Ohio State the championship? How about, hey, we're going to play the game. You Adam, you go beat them and set history for Michigan. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, there'd also be other people in Michigan involved in that decision, athletic director, whoever. I just, alumni. Can you imagine the pressure from alumni if they got the wind that Michigan didn't really want to play that game? I mean,
yeah.
I know they're going to get beat. They know they're probably going to get beat, but that'd be a really terrible way to go out.
All right, we're going to take a break. We got some quickies. We got more when we come back. More Sports and Les Levine, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot will join us. You can see us normally from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, with replays all through, which will be, of course, heard all through the day and night on cleveland.com and other places. You can do that. Wednesday, it'll be the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. Then Thursday, another D-Man. That'll be Daryl Ryder, who will join us. We'll talk a lot of Browns and, of course, Ohio State. Let's... Bud Shaw is with us. Brian, are we ready for quickies, or is that a little later? Go ahead. Well, you got to help me on it. Got some quickies, Bud. You got your paper and pencil?
Pen? I do.
How about this one from Paul and Finley? How come the Marty Schottenheimer coached the defense in the second half? He decided to coach the offense. Oh, 6'5". But there's 6'5". Truth in advertising. I mean, he's not wrong.
It's truth. Not that funny. That's okay.
There you go.
I like it when there's truth and it's funny.
It's not so easy to do. Let's see what we got coming up next. This is from Steve in Tallahassee. How come when we lost the mat and to play Twister on a Monopoly board, instead it was a real game changer? Now that I think you're gonna like that one, Bud.
I do like it. I didn't see it coming. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I think you've been sold by how I've been promoting Mr. Gullible's Quickie from
Well,
a
I
couple
have to, because you promoted it, I have to leave room, Les, for that. You know, I can't give a 9 to somebody and then.
Yeah, 9.
I've never given a 10 on this show.
All right, let's see what we got here from Mr. Gullible. How come when the cop told me that I looked, it looked like my girlfriend got hit by a bus, I said, well, she's also got a wonderful personality.
Now, I like that, but part of me says I don't want anybody to say, boy, what a sexist outcome Quickie that was.
I think
I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8, but I'm not going to give it a 9.
I feel the same way. I think Brian added some words on that since I last saw that. I didn't think it went that way, but it made a quick left turn on me.
Yeah, it was. I got to say, it was Mr. Gullible's. It was a better effort from him than I've seen in a couple of weeks. Just like Baker Mayfield.
It was. It was a lot cleaner than his recent.
Than the ones we haven't been able to use from him. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can just get by, that's enough sometimes.
That's true.
All right, tell me what's going to happen.
That wasn't bad.
Mary Kay Cabot coming up tomorrow night. Tell me what's going to happen with the Browns here. We got a 9-3 record. Hasn't been that way since 1994. Vinny Testaverde quarterbacked that team.
Here's what's going to happen, Les.
Okay.
They're gonna finish 11-5 or 12-4. I'm going to say 12-4 right now.
Okay, that means one more win.
One more win? If they finish 12-4?
Remember, my math is not good.
Yeah, they'll win 3 of their next 4.
Okay.
Finish 12-4. Get a home playoff game, and the home field won't matter this year.
No, because they won't have fans there. That's the other thing that got ruined for the fans here, that they haven't been able to enjoy it down at the stadium and downtown and all that stuff. I mean, it's no different than any other team, obviously, but this is a special one that I think would savor the victory and the noise and the excitement a lot more than some other ones out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just look at it and I think, what would make home field really matter? I mean, I know there's comfort level among players to play at home, but it's not when we used to figure that into these games when we would look at these matchups. Like, boy, can you really win at Green Bay? And the cold will matter. If they play a warm team in the cold, that'll help. But as far as home field crowds, not going to make much difference this year.
Well, I figured not this year. I figured in the past that if Las Vegas says it is a difference.
No, yeah. They used to figure on it like a 3-point difference for playing at home. I just wonder if that'll still be the case this year when they start.
Probably not. All right, that'll do it for us. Great job by Bud Shaw. We'll see you next week, right? Next Monday.
Yes, sir.
That'll do it. Mary Kay Cabot comes up next. What is the 7.5 for?
The overall show.
Oh. We'll discuss that at the meeting after the show.
This was my performance. This was my performance. So the rest of the show was actually better.
I upped it a little bit. All right, that'll do it. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.